Gananam tva ganapatikum havamahi kavim kavinam upamashravastamam jistarajam brahmam brahmas patana srivanuti vishidi sadanam am am am. There's a great concept in yoga called sankalpa, which is sort of like your guiding principle. And you can have a sankalpa that varies from day to day or might be pertinent for just a particular activity. But what's great is if you can figure out what is something that you are inherently devoted to that inspires you with joy that you would like to work towards. And to have that be your guiding star, your principle, your sankalpa all the time. So take a moment and see if there's something that inherently comes to you. In more traditional religions, this would be a religious figurehead like Jesus or Mary or whoever is the religious figure in that religion. For those of us who aren't religious, it might be your spiritual path. What is something that when you think of it, you feel like you can get behind that? Because we're going to come back to that over and over today. So take a moment longer in silence and see if there's something that presents itself. Last week we did a class about recovery. So it might be simply moving towards a healthier place for yourself. It might be overcoming your sense of inadequacy. It might be finding the best possible version of yourself and building that. See if you can come up with a specific statement, a specific short statement, and repeat it to yourself several times in your mind. All right, great. The practices that we're going to do today are designed to overcome fear, grief, and anger. Now let's get started. We'll do a chanting of Om Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times to make the transition from regular life to this more transcendent aspect of ourselves. Here we go. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. All right, so we're going to come sitting so that our big toes touch and our heels go out to the side. Maybe your knees can handle that. If they can't, put something underneath your bottom to support your body weight until your knees feel okay. It might also help to have your knees wider apart. And one great thing about practicing at home is you can just sit in a chair. Whichever version you're going to take, let your hands sit on your knees. Inhale, arch the front of your body. Exhale, arch the back of your body. When you're inhaling, first of all, feel the spark of movement and expansion in your belly, and feel it move up into your chest. When you exhale, squeeze your belly and squeeze the air all the way out. It's like you're rolling up a toothpaste tube. When you're exhaling, squeezing from the bottom, working your way up, and that you're expanding it on the way forward. I've started using a slightly audible breath, and you can do that too. For this first portion, go ahead and have your eyes focus down towards the tip of your nose. Your eyes can be just a tiny bit open so that you can actually see probably a double image of two little tips of your nose because you're a tiny bit cross-eyed. Keep going a little bit longer, and we're going to begin paying attention to our thoughts as we move through the exercises. Every time that you find that you're thinking about lunch or what somebody said to you or what you might need to say or do, come back to noticing some aspect of the practice or that sankalpa, that guiding principle that you started to have for yourself. Great. Inhale, come to center. If you know Mul Bandh, engage Mul Bandh. Exhale. Let's shift to the side. Roll out our ankles. We're going to sit in that same position again in just a moment. All right. Go ahead and lean back and support yourself with your arms. We're going to start to power up. So here we go. We're going to raise our legs up and kind of draw our chest towards our legs and then lower them back down. It's like your scissors coming together and then coming back apart. If you prefer, you can do one leg at a time. But feel like the power of the movement is coming from your midsection. Great. You can either stay with your legs stretched out. If you can come back to your big toes being together and your heels apart, or sitting in a chair, let's do that. You can have your hands on the ground or on your thighs, on your knees. We're going to inhale deeply. Get a nice big Buddha belly when you do that. Exhale. squeeze all the air out. Keep the air out. If you know Jalandhara Bandha, do Jalandhara Bandha as well. And then pump your navel without letting any air come in or out. When you need to breathe in, make sure your spine's nice and long and breathe in. Take a few relaxed breaths. You can spread your knees wider apart. That can make it more stable. Big Buddha belly breath in. Exhale out. Everything out. Use neck lock if you know it. Pump the navel. In your mind's eye, visualize your navel point. Feel it, see it moving. When you need to breathe, come upright. Let's do 3 more rounds. Inhale. Deep inhale. Exhale. Mula Bandha and Jalandhara Bandha, if you know them, pump the navel. However vigorously you're pumping your navel, see if you can be a little more vigorous. Great. Spine comes up nice and straight. Last one, here we go. Good, get your legs out from underneath you. We're going to do a strong forward fold, but typically people have way more tension in their hamstrings than they do in their low back, and those muscles in the hamstrings are huge and powerful compared to the low back muscles. So we're going to do a little prep before we do our forward bend. If you're pretty flexible, then you can just come resting on your back. As long as you can keep your legs straight and hold on to it somewhere, that's fine. Otherwise, here's a great little trick. Find a door frame, and so this is if you are an athlete, have nice big strong hamstrings, or know that you're really tight in your hamstrings. So you get an open doorway, lie on your back, one leg through the opening and the other leg perfectly straight going up the door jamb. And as your leg loosens up, you move your body closer to the wall until it's straight up and down. Flex your foot, which engages, this is whether you're up the wall or lying just on the floor. If you engage the front of your thigh, the quads, ideally by flexing your foot, pushing your knee straight, pushing your knee towards the wall or the floor or the door jamb, that's going to help the muscles in the back of your legs to relax. If you have longer arms, you can maybe grab your toes outside of your foot. We've been at this long enough that your muscles may be starting to release, and you can go deeper into the stretch, either scooching closer to the door jamb or taking your leg further towards your head. No matter what position you're in, push the back of your knee towards the supporting, towards being more and more straight, either the support of the door jamb or the resistance of your arms and hands if you're straight up. Fantastic. Go ahead and put your hands anchoring the hip that's on the ground, the leg that's on the ground, and then take the leg that's up out to the side. Use your hand to help you bring your leg back upright. Great. And then we're going to do the other leg. If you're in the door jam, you're going to have to swivel around to a different angle. All right, good. So we've been there long enough that your muscles may be starting to react. So you can go a little bit deeper, whether you're pushing yourself closer to the door jamb, or you're pushing the back of your knee a little bit straighter, or possibly taking your foot closer to your face. Where are your thoughts? See if you can have your thoughts on the stretch sensations you're having, on noticing your breathing pattern, or maybe even on that sankalpa, that mission statement you set for yourself. All right, fantastico. So we should be in a better place for taking advantage of forward bend. So if you had your legs up the wall, then more than likely it's going to benefit your practice to sit on a pillow just underneath your sits bones. So those are the two little bony spots in the center of each of your buttocks, and you want them to be, you want to be balanced with your weight just on the front edge of those sits bones. So for the forward fold, we're gonna sit, we're gonna be in this position for a little while. So we wanna make sure the backs of our legs are as stretched out as they can be before we start to move into our back. So you can hold on to your buttocks and pull one back so you've got length, reach out through the opposite heel. Do the same thing on the other side, pull back through your hip, reach out through the heel. Push your knees straighter. Push them so straight that your heels come up off the floor. Flex your feet even more. You can hold on to your toes, pull your toes more strongly back, really trying to get the stretch, the maximum stretch across the back of the lower body before we move to the upper body. All right, fantastic. So we're gonna move into relaxing the upper body. The lower body's still gonna stay strong, upper body's gonna be relaxed. So wherever your relaxed forward fold is, go into that. If you feel like you're struggling or straining in that forward fold, take a pillow or a cushion, put it on top of you so you can just totally relax. You can relax once you're here. All right, so we're gonna stay here for a couple of minutes. Just keep your head down. And the focus now is thinking about your spinal column. Put all your attention in your spine from the tip of your tailbone, which is really close to the ground. Move your thought or your sensation up your spine all the way to the base of the skull. And the entirety of that, you're allowing gravity to stretch by letting the weight of your head pull your upper body towards your legs. Through a yoga practice, you develop and continue to develop your ability to control your thoughts. Instead of them jumping all around, possibly being self-destructive or cruel to other people, you can choose what your thoughts are. So this is where we start that process. Control where your thoughts go. Every time you notice that your thoughts are not on your spinal column, bring them back to your spine. Feel as though your spine is lengthening, becoming more healthy. And now I'd like you to feel a sensation of warmth. It might be slightly different than warmth. You could imagine a warm drop of oil descending from the base of your skull, rolling down your entire spinal column. It might feel a little bit more like a little creeping sensation along your spine. Let your head feel even heavier than it already does, and let the weight of your head drop you further down towards your extended legs. Wherever you're touching your legs or your feet, hold on with a little more strength. Establish the sense of your spine staying relaxed. Elbows point down towards the floor. And now use the strength of your arms to take your head closer to your legs. It might be a minute movement. Relax, take a few breaths. If you're feeling this in your low back, do not continue. Go ahead and slowly roll yourself up. Otherwise, use the strength of your arms to pull the top of your head further towards your legs. Take some relaxed breaths. Keep feeling the sensation in your spine. Feel as though any blockages in your spine, any blockages to your health are releasing. And third and final time, use the strength of your arms, if there's any movement left, to take your spine closer to your legs. Release your hands and take them to the floor. And let's start out passively using the hands to take our spine back upright. Walk your hands closer and closer to your hips. Your spine's going to start to come more upright just on its own. Great. Notice your blood pressure coming back to normal. Also, focus on your spinal column. Can you feel more energy there, more heat, more sensation of any sort? Some people might experience it as visualization. Great. All right. You can set any way that you like now so that you feel stable. We're going to jump even deeper into this release of anger, fear, and grief. I'm going to sit on my cushion. All right, so this is going to be an arm movement, and we're going to be chanting Hari. The navel pumping that we did earlier should have us primed for this. Every time you chant, you want to feel your belly move in just a little bit. During COVID yoga, I've had a lot of time, and so I've gone back and reread many of the ancient texts around yoga. And the translation of Har or Hari that is really captivating me right now is that it is the name of God or the divine that takes away the sorrows of the chanter, of the devotee. So imagine that as you're moving through the practice. So another thing you can do to amplify the benefits is as you chant Har, the R part of Har or Hari, your tongue can hit the roof of your mouth, stimulating meridians that pass through there. All right, so we're going to be have your elbows back, your hands out in front of you, and one movement is going to be like you're pushing somebody away and back in. The second movement is arms out to the side and back in, alternating back and forth. Here we go. Hari, 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 Hari. Fantastic. Keep going. Anytime you're working to release these sort of more primitive emotions, if you gaze towards the tip of your nose, that can help. So if your eyes are just a tiny slit open, gazing towards the tip of your nose. Again, you might see two little mirror nose tips. And your navel is moving in and out each time that you chant the name of that universal essence that removes sorrow. Every time you find that your thoughts have gone in a different direction, increase the strength of your ability to control your thoughts by bringing them back. This is, rather than this being a practice to feel bad that your mind wanders, it's a practice to strengthen your mind to every time that you bring it back is like doing a little mental push-up. Keep going with the practice. Keep going, you're doing great. Be supportive of yourself. At this point, if you are pumping your navel, your abdomen might be feeling a little strained. Working with the navel helps to build our resolve, our ability to digest and deal with whatever comes to us in our day-to-day life. This can be food, but it can also be the insane dumpster fire of the daily news that we're having to process. So to the extent that you feel comfortable, keep up that pumping of the navel. If it gets too uncomfortable, you can lessen it or stop the pumping, because we're going to go another couple of minutes. There are so many different focal points with this practice. The movement of the arms, the chanting, the movement of the navel point. The idea that your sorrows are being removed. The sankalpa, the focal point, your mission statement that you set before the practice started. use any or all of these to keep your mind on what you're doing right now. Stay focused and present on the current moment. And then pull your elbows back, engage Mulband, and relax. If you need to switch up how you're sitting, switch. If your knees hurt, extend your legs out, bounce your knees up and down. Otherwise, just stay where you are. Return to a comfortable way of sitting. Make the OK sign with your index fingers and thumbs. Arms come out like they're goalposts. Again, if you want to keep focusing towards the tip of your nose, that helps with relieving basic fears. And we're going to keep chanting Had or Hari and pumping the navel as we twist from one side to the other. Hari, 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 Hari. Hari, 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 Keep strengthening your mental focus. Keep drawing your mind back to some aspect of your practice. Hari, 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 Hari. Last little bit. Hari, Hari, Hari. Come to center. If you know Mulband, engage it. Inhale, suspend the breath. Great, release. We're going to fold forward, and you can do that a couple of different ways. Everyone, start with your hands on your thighs. Inhale and bring your arms straight up and maybe a little behind your ears. And then we're going to exhale, and if this is straining to your low back, go ahead and bring your hands down. Or if you have some stomach issues, digestive issues, put your hands in loose fists at your belly. And then on an exhale, fold forward. Relax with your arms stretched out, with your arms alongside your thighs. or with your hands and loose fists, gently compressing the belly. And just relax. Great. And now whatever your position you're in, we're going to inhale, come back up. Exhale, take your legs out. All right, one final time, sitting in rock pose on your heels, and or in a chair, or on a blanket. Take your hands, your arms straight up, spread your fingers as wide as they'll go, like you're sticking a little piece of pie between each one of your fingers. You know, this is that, it's a movement of exuberance. Feel that exuberance in your body, and then just for a short amount of time, one more round of that chanting of Hari, 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 Hari. Keep directing your thoughts. Keep bringing your thoughts back to the practice. Just about 30 more seconds. Hari, 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 Hari. Great. Inhale. If you know move on to engage. Excellent. Okay. We're going to start to activate in a more precise way these negative emotions. So you're going to come sitting in the most despondent posture that you possibly can. So slouch and around your back, let your head drop. Cultivating a sense of despair, of sadness, of sorrow. Allow these unexpressed feelings to percolate up so that we can further address them, so that we can further remove them. These sorrows may have to do with your own personal situation. They may have to do with the more global situation, say, of politics. Or they may have to do with the distress of planetary influences, hurricanes, fires. Don't resist. Just allow these emotions, these sensations that are there, possibly with your awareness, possibly not. There's a natural instinct to push these down, to push these away, to avoid. but they are part of the full spectrum of living. Allow them to percolate up now. You may need to consciously visualize things that cause distress, fear, sadness, grief. You may have personal memories that begin to come up. So we're going to try a technique now. We're going to take the energy, the charge of the emotions that we're experiencing, and simply use that energy, that charge, to fuel our sankalpa, our desire for our own personal improvement, whatever it was that your mission statement was. So feel whatever the sadness is, maybe the sense of devastation of the fires along the West Coast. Take the almost overwhelming despair at that situation. Feel the power of the emotion and put it behind your sankalpa. Increase the strength of your sankalpa by redirecting the energy of your emotions. Turn that despair into despair that you have not reached your sankalpa yet. If your sadness is due to a loss or someone that you were unable to help in some way, take the power of that emotion and use it to harness your drive for your sankalpa. Great. And you might want to use your hands to help you straighten your spine. Let's come out of that. Let's pause for a few seconds. If there are any additional emotions or sensations or memories that come up, see if you have the strength to redirect them towards something positive. This is an exercise. This is a practice. This is something that with consistent use, you can become better at. Just like we were redirecting our thoughts to use our mind in a way that we want to, we're going to do the same with our emotions. All right, one more of these kind of odd little pseudo meditations. We're going to put our right elbow on our right knee. And again, this may be more comfortable for you to do in a chair. You want your hand to be along the side of your face with your fingers spanning over the side of your forehead. Your other hand, your left hand, can be on your knee. And what we're doing here is compressing the entirety of the liver over on the right midsection. So you can adjust yourself so that you feel like you're squishing that area passively as much as you possibly can. There's an association of certain organs with certain emotions, and the liver is associated with anger.
So just like we did with the previous body position, see if you can tap into anger. This might be even less comfortable than tapping into sorrow. What we're doing with these practices
is purging ourselves of old emotions that have not been processed and that continue to create malfunction and dysfunction in our lives. They keep us from fully being present and enjoying every moment as it comes up. Once we are present in the current moment, then we can really experience the sensations of what's happening right now. We can take action more appropriate to the current moment. See if you can find the places of anger, of rage, of rejection, of inadequacy that are there inside of all of us. Notice that emotions are not who we are. When we're in the midst of an emotional storm, we can forget that we are something other than that. So right now, as you're experiencing the emotions, there's some part of you that's able to watch and disengage from that. That's the part of ourselves that we're trying to that we are actively becoming more and more familiar with. Just a bit longer, finding those times when you've been slighted, when you've been looked down upon, when you've been disregarded, abandoned, actively, consciously hurt by someone else. Find the emotional charge there and direct it towards your sankalpa, towards your own personal improvement, to moving towards a place of joy and happiness for yourself. Great, and then we're going to slowly pull ourselves out of that. And we're going to use a breathing practice that will further help us to neutralize any emotions that we stirred up. It's a nice breath where you breathe in through your mouth over your extended tongue, or if you can curl your tongue, you're going to curl the sides of your tongue. So we're going to do it with neck lock, and so you want to sit in such a way that your knees touch the ground. So you might just sit up higher on a cushion. If you can do half lotus, full lotus, or siddhasana, go ahead and sit in one of those poses. When we're breathing out, it's through the nose and the mouth closes. So inhale over either the curled little tube of a tongue or the stuck out tongue. And as you're breathing in, you want to have your focus on the sensation of coolness over your tongue. Pull your tongue in, close your mouth, hands are on the knees, press down with your knees, straighten your elbows like you're going to try and squeeze your elbows towards each other. Lightly pull up on the muscles of the pelvic floor. Your chin drops down so that no air can come in or out. And then we're going to release all of that. Breathe out. We're going to do several rounds like that. So getting ready for an inhale, concentrating on the cooling effect of the breath.
Close the mouth, press down with the hands into the knees, squeeze the elbows, the arms towards each other, drop the chin, lift up on the pelvic floor. Relax everything, raise your chin, breathe. The purpose of this is to cool those heated emotions and also to create a sense of satisfaction. It's a great technique. You can use it for curbing a sense of hunger or thirst. Here we go. This helps to calm the mind, soothe the muscle tension. You only want to hold your breath in for as long as you can without feeling any strain. We'll do a couple more rounds. Here we go. And last one. Just enjoy the benefits of doing the practice. Be open to noticing the benefits that I mentioned, or maybe even others that I didn't mention. We're going to do one more sort of meditation practice that you need to be really stable for, because we're going to be kind of tipping back a bit. So if you can adopt, again, one of these postures where your knees are firmly planted on the floor, where you've got a larger base of contact with the ground, take one of those. I'm going to go to the side now to demonstrate this. This practice combines quite a few things. So we're going to use ujjayi, that's that little, that slight contraction in the throat to make the breath more raspy. We're going to use Kachari Mudra, where you take the tongue, the bottom side of the tongue, to the roof of your mouth. Okay, and we're going to use Shambhavi Mudra, an eye mudra, where you're gazing upwards. The best way to come into that, to really get it right, is to bring your finger into the tip of your nose with your eyes open, gazing at the tip of your finger, and then raise it up to the spot in between your eyebrows and keep looking at it. You might still see two fingers. You might be able to see a bit of your own eyebrows. This is produces quite a bit of eye strain, of muscular challenge. So you only want to do it for as long as you feel comfortable. Again, you'll build up the ability, the capacity over time. All right, so your hands are going to be on your knees and pressing down into the floor. That's, again, just to make you nice and stable. Long, straight spine. And then we're going to tip our head back about 45 degrees. And then once you're there, take your tongue so that the bottom side presses into the roof of your mouth. Start that slight raspiness of ujjayi breath. And then take the eyes up to Shambhavi Mudra, looking at the spot
in between your own eyebrows. It's actually a really pleasant position to do Shambhavi Mudra, and we'll just stay here and breathe. Relax all of that. Take your head back to neutral. Disengage your eyes and your tongue. Breathe normally. So in this interim, we'll do several rounds of the practice. In this interim, we're going to further develop our ability to engage with that part of ourselves that's not our emotions, not our thoughts, that is, perhaps you might even say, everlasting, omniscient. So in the dark space of your closed eyes, feel as though you're able to neutrally observe, like you were watching a big Cinemax screen. This aspect of ourself that is not our personality, that is not our memories, that is not our emotions. It's often referred to as the seer, the witness, the awareness. All right, we're going to do that practice one more time. Press down through your hands into your knees, straighten your elbows, and take your head back about 45 degrees. Ujjayi breath. Engage your tongue and engage your eyes. Elbows straight. The eye mudra can be hard to do with your eyes closed when you first start to develop the ability to do it. So if you need to have your eyes slightly open, try and see your own eyebrows. I'm going to keep going a few more seconds. Whenever you feel like you have had enough, sometimes people will start to feel a little swoony or like they're going to faint, and you need to just release out. Great. Relax all of those practices. Come back to where it's like you're sitting in a giant empty theater, except for the screen can go on into infinity. Be the neutral seer. That part of yourself that is not your personality. Once you're in this space, you won't have any awareness of who you are, what you've done, your gender, your job, what kind of car you drive. It's just pure witnessing. And if you feel ready, we'll do one more round like that. Press down through the straightened elbows, tip the head back, raspy breath. Engage the tongue, engage the eyes. It's said that once a person can hold Shambhavi Mudra for a minute, that once you disengage, your personal essence will be, or may be, revealed to you. If you'd like to put that forward as something that can happen, Go ahead and imagine that that is going to happen when you come out of the practice. Good. Relax out of the practice. Come back into that expansive infinity that you can gaze into, this part of yourself that's connected to the universal. From that universal connection, perhaps some sense of your essence will be revealed to you. Great. Come out of the posture, come down and relax on your back. I had a request from a couple different people for some gong relaxation, so we're going to do our best to overlay some of that right now. As you come down onto the floor, let's do our best to remove any extra tension we can get rid of. So go through each one of your limbs, contracting them as tightly as you can, and then relaxing. Maybe starting with your right leg, contract all the muscles in your right leg and then relax them. Contract all the muscles in your left leg and relax them. Right arm, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Relax. And left arm. Good, release. Now let's do the torso, buttocks, belly, chest, and back muscles. Squeeze, 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 compress. Imagine you can even squeeze your internal organs. Good, release. Now shoulders, neck, throat, head, face. Imagine you can even squeeze your brain. Releasing and releasing tension. Good. Relax. Have a sense of yourself in that infinite space. Almost as though you were just floating in infinite space. And your body is incredibly light. It's like you're a feather on the breeze, and you're going to start to slowly sink down, sinking, sinking, sinking. And as you do so, releasing tension from your body, from your mind, from your emotions, from your psyche. start to wiggle your fingers, start to wiggle your toes. Roll your wrists around in circles. Roll them the other way. And now do the same with your ankles. Roll them one way, roll them the other. Shrug one shoulder and then the other. And as you do so, reach down through one leg and then the other. Good. Bring the soles of your feet together and rub them. Bring the palms of your hands together and rub them. Good. Stop rubbing the feet. Keep rubbing the hands until they feel warm and cup them over your eyes. Your fingers can overlap at the brow where you may still feel some tension from all of the mudras that we were using today. Oh, good. Feel that soothing sensation. Great. Bend your knees. Put your feet on the floor. Drop your knees from side to side. Feeling any tension you might feel in your back released. Good. Roll. Next time your knees drop to one side or the other, roll onto that side and use your hands to push yourself all the way back up. Think back to that sankalpa, that mission statement that you set for yourself at the beginning of today's practice. Mentally say it to yourself several times. Feel that because of the practice, there is less between you and the fulfillment of that practice. Feel yourself closer and more of an embodiment of that. And then using the voice as an instrument of expression, we're going to chant Sat Nam as though we are voicing that sankalpa. Let's inhale together. Sat Nam. Through our practice, may we move ever closer to our perfect essence. Sat Nam, Namaste. See you next time.